How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.
So on days like this, that what is possible is just redefined. Vaibhav Suryavanshi is now the fastest Indian to score 100 in the IPL, second only to the universe boss Chris Gayle. Boss baby is a term that Simon Catich gave him. He has bossed this chase. He's announced himself, and now today is Suryavanshi's day. And it is the Titans, one of the most efficient bowling attacks of this year's IPL, at the receiving end. It's all about Vaibhav for the next few minutes. So stay with us on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout as Ian Bishop, Varun Aaron and Dustin Silgardo will just marvel over what we have witnessed. The astonishing day. Yeah, giving him fist bumps like he's
He predicted the outcome.
He predicted.
Reluctantly, but he did.
It was a shot in the dark.
I think this deserves one of Bishop's iconic Vaibhav Suryavanshi with the name.
That's nobody says that.
Bish, I want you to start, and I want you to use all the words that the good Lord has gifted you with to describe what you've just witnessed.
No, it's mind-blowing, man. That was mind-blowing from a 14-year-old. You put that into context. 14 years old. What was I doing at 14 years old? But let me put it this way, and it's something that I didn't expect this, to be honest with you. I don't know how many of you did. India have had, Varun, phenomenal players, phenomenal batters over the last however many years. All right, let's just talk IPL. Last decade, some great players. Not going to call any names. But for me, what we're seeing with Matre, with Sheikh Rashid, and now this 14-year-old kid tonight, Priyancharia, India should not be afraid to look at the next generation, the next faces of the IPL, possibly Indian cricket, because there was confirmation tonight that there is enough talent there, that the shift from where we are now to where India and the IPL need to move is standing right in front of us. How you handle this kid, though, I mean, it's a hard act to follow for the rest of the season, and I think Rahul Dravid is one of the best people around to be able to manage it.
The age factor makes this even more extraordinary. If I may dare say, he wasn't in around when it happened, but this is the Tendulkar moment, the Tendulkar equivalent, because amongst other things, what a generation saw was the age of someone who was 16, I think, at the time when he played international cricket. Of course, IPL, different thing. I don't mean to get carried away on that aspect. But for anyone watching this today, this is the kind of stuff that will go beyond IPL watchers, cricket watchers. 14-year-old smashed fastest ever 100 by an Indian.
100%, and it's not even like it's a fluke, because the first ball he faced this IPL was a 6. So that's been his approach. He's carried on that approach. But you know what? RR have shown faith in him. You have to give RR credit because they have always put their faith in unknown young players. Even with Riyan Parag, they put a lot of faith in him. He came good for them. But it also takes a lot of, I would say, understanding and heart from a franchise to back these kind of players. And he's come really good for them today. What an innings. I'm shell-shocked. I don't know what GT feel about their performance with the ball.
I mean, this is the term that so many people are now talent scouts. This is, in full credit, what a talent scout does. You identify someone who's as young as 13. I think Jake Lakshmakram, the CEO of the Royals, had said he's been with us and we're supervising him for a year before this auction, which would have been when he was 12 or 13. And now it's one thing that he's done this. We weren't sure, firstly, whether he'll play after he got picked up for 1 crore. And then when we did see him play, the team was on its way down. It just makes it more and more extraordinary. But yeah,
I mean,
your thoughts.
It's a kind of innings that almost throws you into an existential crisis. You just think, humans are capable of this at that age. You start to ask all these questions about where talent comes from. But yeah, it's gobsmacking. It's a kind of performance as a parent, you almost feel a little bit worried for him now in terms of, oh my God, I can't imagine if my kid at 14 years old had this level of fame, but I guess that's a separate conversation. Today it's just about being astounded by the innings.
One question. How old was he when Chris Gayle scored that fastest 100?
That would be 2013, so he would have been 2 years old.
I'll give you the other one. When Yusuf Pathan scored the 37 ball 100, he wasn't born.
Oh my God.
So that was 2010.
That is crazy.
So he was just an idea at the time, Vaibhav Suryavanshi. And here he is now breaking that record that has stood for 15 years as far as Indians go. Gale's record, maybe it will, maybe it won't, but it still stands the test of time with that 170 innings. But just, okay, let's try. And also, there's the emotion to it. But there's also the cricketing side to it. The shots that he played. So I think after 2 or 3 innings, there was already analysis. Oh, this guy is trying to hit every ball for 6. He's trying to hit the ball too hard. Surely he'll hit one straight up in the air. But this kind, even though it's 35 balls for 100, he's actually built an innings. Today, it's different from his previous innings, isn't it, Bish?
Yeah, but I think it speaks also, another point is it speaks to the culture that franchises are creating where they, sorry, this is remarkable, honestly.
Yeah.
It's hard to really speak logic to this, but they're allowing young players to come in, most franchises, and be free, be fearless, don't worry about your failure.
Yep.
And that's a big shift in Indian cricket with guys like Yashasvi Jaiswal and others. That's a big shift in
100%.
IPL cricket. Let's not look past that. It's a few generations ago, guy comes in, play properly. You get 2 failures, you're gone. No, there's a different culture being.
Yeah, I mean, Finchy was here when we spoke of when he took down Shardul that day, and then after that, when we saw him get out, Bhuvneshwar Kumar got him, and we had this very interesting conversation of imagine what Suryavanshi's upbringing is in terms of when he's reached here. This is a kid at 14. We're still trying to understand how to create content for 14-year-olds in this business, and we still don't have the answers. This is a guy who's grown up.
Well, you just created a lot of content.
Oh, he's created the content.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is a guy who's probably thinking, what's my way of making a statement first up? So when he takes Shardul out, it's not seeing the first ball, bat on ball, let's see what the wicket's doing. This is what's a reel tonight. And a reel tonight is Suryavanshi stepping out and hitting him for 6. And Finchy agreed to that point. We try to get into what a 14-year-old kid thinks. The fearlessness has a lot to do with factors beyond cricket and also with cricket because of what the IPL is. This kid has watched IPL. He's grown up entirely in the IPL era. And it all comes together when there's no fear. You can tell a 26-year-old play without fear and he'll think about it himself. This kid hasn't even reached that point.
And I think kids in the years to come are going to get even more fearless because they're seeing that these things are possible. I mean, as humans, we know that we can go on the moon because somebody has gone to the moon before us.
Yep, sure.
So that gives you belief that, you know what, we can achieve this feat. So especially with the way Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma started off last year, I think that has given a lot of belief to a lot of batters and to a lot of teams that the impossible can be made possible. But I think he was slightly helped out by the GT bowlers today. And I don't want to make this like an anticlimax, but I feel that to him, and I've been looking at this from the first match onwards, you can go around the wicket to him because he's Bish.
I swear I'll give you that chance. I promise I'll give it to you. Okay, but you know what? You do whatever. But I actually did not believe that it is possible for a 14-year-old human body to hit shots like that.
Yeah,
to hit shots over long off for 6. To flick for 6. I thought you didn't even have that strength by then. I was like, we were wearing oversized pads and clothes at that time, and I still don't think they've got his shirt size right. Rajasthan Royals.
Could you do a pull-up at 14?
No, just none of this is possible. None of this should be possible. But we have to tell ourselves we have no idea what can be possible.
I see where Varun is going. Deep analysis of if this was a 26-year-old who scored this 100, your analysis is absolutely spot on. How can we get him this
100%,
next game, right? Yeah. The other side of the prism, though, and this is perhaps part of where we are tonight, is I don't care what GT served up on a platter. The kid is 14 years old and he demolished what was served to him tonight. You can take nothing away. Going forward, your analysis How do they come at him next game? How does he counter what's going to be thrown at him? But for tonight, I don't care whether they serve him oranges.
100%.
To put away that.
Just to throw it out there, Priyansh Arya is 10 years older than him. And we were amazed by the
And don't forget what he has done. You talk about that. How much of this dribbles down from the international cricket and the brand that India saw being played by other teams in the world, and India started to play with skipper, followed up by what Abhishek and Travers did. And then we saw Priyansh Arya coming in with this today. I'm just hoping that we don't go too far, obviously, with praising him, but you cannot step back from the fact tonight was absolutely mind-blowing, otherworldly is a word that
100%. He's genuinely taken us to a new world. Yeah. We now have to start thinking of what is possible. If suddenly now there's an 18-year-old making his debut tomorrow, we're like, surely we expect more.
A few years
He's
later.
reduced the average age of the acceptable cricketer.
I do have an analysis question which is still strung with the emotion. How is ball striking so clean at this age? That's what I'm finding really hard to figure out or understand. Just the ability to hit the distance he hits. He looks like a finished product when you look at his sixes as a batter. He definitely looks like a finished product. Nothing seems amiss as such. He's hitting world-class bowlers for 6 now, or international capped bowlers certainly for 6. So what do you sense that's taken?
If you look at the way his backlift is, it starts off and then it goes here, and it's almost like a whip, you know. So he gets a little extra whip into his shots because it's not like a conventional up and down kind of backlift. He actually, it'll be really cool to see one of those trackers which we have nowadays on the matches, which tracks his backlift. It's a very different backlift, and I think that's what makes him unique and gets so much power into the shot with that effort, or somebody who's that young.
Pendulum swing.
Yeah.
Remember when Yuvraj came on the scene?
Something close to Yuvraj, 100%, yes.
Languid, pendulum swing, and you can see it full range motion. My, how do you describe this kid without going too far, and still keeping it in context because he's still got more to play?
I think Sid Monga posted something on our group which was just funny. He said it's also an innings that has healed Rahul Dravid's legs because Dravid has stood up. It's just he's forgotten about it.
This is the way they need to play, though. On the other side, this is the way they fluffed a couple of chases, but play aggressively when conditions allow it tonight was T20 cricket, not fluffing your lines. And this kid and Jaiswal helped them by that tempo out of the blocks. Say something, Raunak.
I don't know. I'm struggling. I'm trying to look for fan comments to try and gauge the pulse right now. Yes, and I think
everybody must be just Googling him. Nobody.
No, there are no. Our platform services. People like you, me, Dustin, Bish as well. So it's already over there. No bouncers bowled at Vaibhav. Bowling plans.
Come on.
There is a lot of.
There were actually bouncers bowled at him. There were about 5 bouncers bowled at him.
That's the first point. I asked him that as soon as he came in here with about 4 overs to go.
First question. Guys, you know his strike rate round the wicket? 116. 6 balls, 7 runs. And with his setup, like I said, I didn't want to get into this, but I just feel that he's somebody who guys can go round the wicket to. He just looks like one of those players.
I mean, I can't help but think that now they will plan for Suryavanshi. I don't know how much time they've planned.
Have to.
Yeah, but I guess your impressions would have been, right, okay, we're playing RR, let's plan for Jaiswal, let's plan, for guys who you think can take the game away from you. The kid, there'll be maybe a plan, but a short plan. Now when you see this is the ceiling, or this is the ability, spending a little more time. Sometimes you sense the bowling team can be a little complacent, like, okay, he's going to hit one up. He's going to miss one anyway with this approach.
Also, it's very small sample size of what they've seen, right?
Right.
So it's tough to put that sample size into context. Also, he's a 14-year-old bowlers at the back of the head, they must be thinking, oh, I've played for India, I've played so many IPL games, he's just a 14-year-old. It's just like a mental thing, but now people are going to stand up and realize, man, he doesn't bat like a 14-year-old.
You have to plan for him.
You saw that little stat down. Youngest centurion in all recorded men's T20s.
Oh my.
Suryavanshi. Unbelievable. Right, let's get into a little more of GT and where they've lost this game. And I think our halftime show now has actually aged quite well, where we spent a lot of time talking about GT not being able to outbat oppositions after putting themselves in positions of comfort, at least on the scoreboard. 100 for 1, 110 for 1, etc. That looked easy. Even Jaiswal played his part. Suryavanshi was outstanding. So are they at the receiving end of something that will happen once in a lifetime? Because something like this can happen by any good batter.
Raunak, even 300 today was less. The way they were, I mean, this was just.
I think if they get to 30 to 40, they give themselves a chance. And you approach.
They've tasted in less than 16 overs.
Sure, that's fine. Suryavanshi's played the most insane innings, no doubt. But there's one. Okay, let me put the Gujarat batting conversation aside for a little while. Let's just talk about their bowling. Because you expect a team in such good bowling form with such international experienced bowlers to at least make it harder for Vaibhav, as good as he was?
I think so. That was my expectation at the half. That's why I went with Gujarat. When he had Prasidh Krishna, we talked about Prasidh before.
He's the only
our show
bowler who
started.
bowled around the wicket to him, by the way.
Right, and got him out.
And got him out.
Right? So you have Prasidh Krishna bowling as well as he's ever bowled in T20 cricket, if not better. Mohammad Siraj has gone from strength to strength in this tournament. Rashid Khan, wherever he is at now with his bowling, one of the greats of white ball cricket and the IPL in terms of what he's produced over his career so far. So I couldn't predict that. And that's why you have to give this kid credit. I think they will have to put it down as something miraculous is not the word. Otherworldly that took place here tonight. But they know they have to bowl better.
But just two of those bowlers you mentioned, Prasidh and Rashid, didn't come on till the 6th and 7th over. And again, it's the story today is Suryavanshi, but on GT's bowling, I mean, they gave Ishant 2 up front, then held back Prasidh, bowled Rashid. When something like that is happening, surely you want to just get your best bowlers in as quickly as possible.
I mean, Sai Kishore came on very late.
Let's go. That's the one I was waiting for.
Yeah, Sai Kishore came on too late. Yeah, there were two lefties batting, but Sai Kishore can bowl really well to lefties as well. And anyway, guys were going for 25, 30 runs.
Yeah.
Somebody who's been performing well for you, who has the confidence, and Sai Kishore is somebody who likes the challenge, They could have definitely given him an over.
But they're doing this to Sai Kishore for the last 3 or 4 games. That's what worries me.
Yep.
With the Puran thing and then subsequent games.
Happened for Shivam Dubey, I think, as well. Yeah.
Why? What would that? I
The
don't know
logic
as
is
well
just
as you.
left arm spinner to left hand batters. They think
Yeah,
that's a
but
bad
what I'm
match.
saying is that are you saying to Sai Kishore that he can only bowl when right-handers are batting?
Yeah. No, it's not a good enough reason. And you take into account Sai Kishore's own form, which has been terrific. You take into account that he's no ordinary left-arm spinner who only has one.
Yeah, the carom ball.
He has
He
variation.
can bowl defensively. He got Robin Mintz out in a key time.
100%. And you take into account that this is a game where every one of your bowlers is getting taken down. So there is certainly a case. I mean, even Ishant, I almost feel unlucky for because he has good record against left-handers. He got a catch dropped of Jaiswal, which didn't help, and then Suryavanshi took him down. You had Washington Sundar today, and Washi doesn't get a lot of opportunities with the ball, but I think when he came on, talking to Piyush Chawla about it, came over the wicket, started bowling short. There was a lot of what GT did today was very unlike the Titans as well. Nothing again taking away from
100%.
Suryavanshi.
But a lot of off spinners, what was great about Harbhajan Singh was he bowled off spin to left-hand batsmen, which is why you bring on an off spinner to left-hand batsmen. Off spinners today, including Ashwin, when he bowled to lefties in the beginning of the tournament, they either bowl like carom balls or they bowl arm balls, but they don't bowl off spin. For a left-hand batsman, off spin is actually way tougher than you firing it in. So I would love to see Washi, who's a really good off spinner, trust his off spin and try to get wickets, because at that point you could have only got him out to save the game or your face then.
That could still play the
great innings.
That's awesome. Look, that's awesome, guys. They deserve to win this game entirely. Doesn't matter about everything else. We're just trying to make sense of the game as if Suryavanshi was just a normal human being of age, which he isn't. I actually want to go a little deeper into just what after this now. We'll come back to that when we close the show, perhaps. What after this for Suryavanshi? And, I think that's an important conversation to have.
Very.
But yeah, at the same time, let's just recircle back to the first innings. And what the Titans are still very well placed. But is there a concern here? And I can see some comments on the tempo for Sai Sudarshan. On a day when you win, it's fine. But on a day when you lose, you do go back and think you still have stuff left in the tank. You have batting resources that are not being utilized. So can the trigger be pulled at, say, overs 11 to 13 or 11 to 14? It's worked for them so far, but maybe it won't work, which is the discussion we had at half-time. There could be dew, there could be a good batting lineup, there could be individual brilliance like today. What's their story now?
Yeah, I think, obviously the power play, they do go slow in the power play. They are the second slowest team there. It's worked for them in the past. I think there was also a phase today after Sudarshan got out, where they got 18 of 18 balls.
That's overs.
It was between overs 11 and 14.
That's it.
Yeah, and they kind of reset, which usually the logic is these days in T20 cricket, you don't reset when a wicket falls. You just keep going. Even if the batter coming in maybe needs 3 or 4 balls to get going, the guy who's in just keeps going because you don't have that time to reset. They had a bit of a reset today when Sudarshan got out. They went 3 overs without, I think there was only 1 boundary or 2 boundaries in that period. So maybe that's kind of, now that they've lost, maybe the finer points you'd look at. But again, it is a template that's worked for them in the past.
I think this is a rogue incident just taken place. To be like GT have batted well. Yeah, we can nitpick and say maybe they were 10 runs short or 15 runs short with the way they were playing. And let's be honest, they scored 209 runs.
No, but my question to you, Varun, is that you're putting yourself in a position to outbat the opposition, but at the end of the day, on good batting surfaces, of which today was one. Let me say the Eden Gardens that day wasn't. But 209 for 3, often those are the kind of scores that don't look as good as 240 for 7 or 209 for 8, or whatever. You've used your resources. More batters have tried to go hard early. What if this happens in a playoff game? What if this happens another game and they miss out on top 2? Do you sense somewhere with the kind of form they have, they also need to trust their lower order more, even if they're not long ball players?
I agree with you, but Rutherford was a big miss today.
Yeah, fair enough.
So he would have been that batsman who would have taken on Jofra Archer and he would have come instead of Washi. Now they got Washi in because they would obviously believe that Archer would bowl only length to Tewatia, and Tewatia really wants bowlers to bowl full or slower to him to take them apart. So Washi, being that player who can combat pace, length pace, not Yorker pace, would be that batsman who came in. But in a high stakes game, in the games after this, I would back Rutherford to come in, and we could have seen more runs if he was batting.
Okay, I'll take some of your comments, but before I do that, why don't I actually see what a lot of people have said about Suryavanshi at Jaipur right now, starting with the 2 captains. Gill says it was Suryavanshi's day. His hitting was tremendous. He made full use of it. Short and sweet from Shubman. Rian Parag says it was incredible. We've spent 2 months with him. We've seen what he can do, but to see him do this against world-class bowlers that GT has cannot express in words. Jaiswal, his opening partner, has said, incredible innings, one of the best I've seen. Hope he will do it for us for a long time. I was telling him to just keep going. Incredible today. He just played amazing shots. He practices well, works hard in the nets. He has the game and the temperament. Wish him all the luck. And finally, from the man of the moment, not a man, from the boy of the moment, Vaibhav Suryavanshi. It feels really good. It was my first century in the IPL in my 3rd innings. What I've been practicing for the last 3-4 months, result is showing. I don't see the ground so much. Just focus on the ball. Batting with him, I'm guessing Jaiswal gives me confidence because he keeps it very positive and gives me advice. So it becomes easy to bat with him. It was like a dream. Score a century in the IPL. No fear when asked if bowlers will target him. I'm not thinking about all that. Just focusing on playing.
14 years old.
14 years old.
What else?
What else? Yeah.
What else do we expect?
I guess in some ways also we credit the partnership batting we saw. Jaiswal now is in a unique position to become the senior in the team, in the role, since Samson was ruled out. So you have Jaiswal having to play a different role very early in his own career. But what Jaiswal said there, just keep going. Keep going, keep going. So I guess the partnership had its impact. It wasn't just one guy like Priyansh was for the Punjab game.
True, when a youngster, a baby is going at that rate, you don't want to put any doubt in his head. as a senior partner, you just want to set him free and let him express himself, which is great what Jaiswal did, and that's the way it should be. And man, he's 14, so he can do whatever he wants.
Madness.
I like how he says it's my first century in the IPL.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he knows that this is the first. It's not necessarily, just the one.
Of course. You can see his second one in the next game for all you know.
Yeah.
You know what this has also done? It's given them a net run rate boost. So if they are to create the ending that RCB did, I mean, they needed something like this to lift them.
Yeah.
God knows that dressing room would have been down after 3 chases gone wrong. That's 6 precious points gone down. So I'll come to that in a second. Let's take some of your questions, please. Nirmit, no bouncers bowled at Vaibhav. GT didn't do their homework. We've touched upon it. Bish and Varun have given your opinion.
There were 10 short balls or short of length balls, but of the 5 proper bouncers, he was not in control for 4. So that might have been something missed.
Yep, very good. There you have it. Hola asks if this was a GT bowling failure or actually a batting failure. Where would you put this down to today? If GT have to say where we lost it, should we just say Suryavanshi?
Suryavanshi,
Okay.
who were shell-shocked.
Yeah, there's lots of wow, Suryavanshi, well played Vaibhav. Vaibhav might show the way for other future teenagers in the IPL, says Varun. Yeah, dare I say, we still haven't seen the last of this. Who knows what the next year or two of the IPL will throw at us? 15-year-old, 14, 13-year-old, 12-year-old. Ujjwal says, petition to ban Vaibhav from under-19 World Cups now. The other bowlers, the kids in the other teams will suffer for a long time.
Yeah, actually, only fair.
I mean, if he's doing this here,
Yeah.
you can imagine, he's still not played an under-19 World Cup, so he has one in him.
Jeez.
Unbelievable. What else do we have? Cricket is a game of uncertainties. Yeah, that all comes in on days like this. There's a lot of Ian Bishop missing today. We're missing Ian Bishop on commentary. I wish he was there to call this moment. Why don't you give us just a teaser? Please. Just imagine you getting all charged up. And he's getting to 94. And your words would have been, just say his name. Remember
Raunak.
say his name.
Bish, you got to give Raunak something. He's pleading you. Just
Please,
say his
Bish.
name.
Remember the age. Bish, something.
I think I can hear a colleague of mine saying, as we sit and we talk about this, he's going to say hindsight analysis. But hindsight analysis isn't necessarily a bad thing because none of us, even you, who cleverly backed Rajasthan Royals tonight, could have predicted what we've seen.
Yeah.
Right? And for our viewers tuning in here again, we couldn't have predicted this. I couldn't have predicted this. But I think it's a time you asked the GT question. I don't want them to just put this down to a bad day and say it'll be better. It gives me a chance. If I were in control of that front, as a captain, I said, all right, this happened. I wonder if this could force us to look inwardly and how we can be better just in case something like that were to happen again. And I did say that Sai was a lot slower tonight than he had been previously. And I still think to maximize your back end, Rahul Tewatia, Shahrukh Khan, guys like that. I know Shafin will come back whenever he's fit. Do you want to give them more balls at that back end?
100%.
2 areas, apart from the bowling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maximize.
You're not giving me anything, are you?
I'll also just say that Vaibhav is one of the few people who probably doesn't remember the name Carlos Brathwaite because he was 3 years old in 2016, so his hippocampus wouldn't have developed.
Well done, Dustin. Right. Dark Carnage says he's the Lamine Yamal of cricket. Yeah, there's a lot of Lamine Yamal love when we saw him at the World Cup and whatnot. But yeah, all right, let's just see what else. Okay, there are some of you saying GT's bowling isn't great. They're over-reliant on Rashid. No, please.
God.
Stop this one game reaction. Please, I request you. It's still a good bowling lineup, isn't it? Okay. Why do we criticize Rashid Khan or Shubman Gill when the team's doing badly, but when they do well, we praise Ashish Nehra? You know, it's not...
Well, we don't do that.
Of course, yeah. But yeah, I mean, they missed Shubman Gill today, and I think Ashish Nehra is where the buck stops in that team very much. So I'm trying to think of, again, tactically whether they were just shell-shocked a little bit today, and they thought, okay, he's going to hit one up, and it just never happened. Game went away then.
But again, taking nothing away from him, yes, number one, they were shell-shocked, no 2 ways. Also, I think they were hoping because he hit quite a few edges, which went for 4 or 6.
There were quite a few of those
Yeah.
early.
So they were also like, okay, he's going to edge one. He's just like, you just feel as a bowling team, okay, it's coming, but it never came. He just went from strength to strength and destroyed the attack after that.
Great innings.
Yeah.
Great
innings.
Great innings of the IPL.
Okay, Rifat Jamal asks, power hitting or traditional batting, which is harder for a teenager?
Power hitting or?
Traditional batting, what's actually harder for a teenager? I think there's a lot of layers to that question, because actually this might be easier to do than develop a all-round technique and game for red ball cricket, which was what a lot of cricketers who grew up in your generations would have first prioritized.
You know what's really hard for a teenager? To score 100 in the IPL.
Yep. Very good.
However you do it.
How is this developed though, Ian? Do you think, is it just repetition? Do you think he spent like hours in the nets just practicing these kind of shots? Or is it a mix between that and just natural brilliance?
He obviously has a natural ability. He's had to have that foundation of being stronger than most other 14-year-old batters.
Yep.
A pendulum swing that is very rare, particularly for somebody of that age. And then you work hard at it in the nets, however many 100 deliveries of range hitting, and then being given the confidence to go out there by the coaching staff to say, go and play the way that you normally play that got you.
I mean, this is where I still don't get it. Like, I can't. He goes to school, right? How much time does it? That's why I mean the time factor. Even when you're at 12, your body is nowhere near, even if you're a slightly stronger or taller 12-year-old, which you, I'm sure, were, Bish. but at 12, it takes a year, firstly, to just be able to lift a full-size bat. I mean, at 12, were you holding a full-size bat even?
Can I tell you something that shocked me?
Please.
When I was playing. What year was India in England? Was it 1990?
Yeah, they had a tour in 90.
How old was Sachin?
Sachin was born in... he had 17, I think. That
Yeah, 17.
that tour,
He would have been
yeah.
17, yeah.
So I was playing for Derbyshire. And we were playing India at Chesterfield. Never forgot it. And we batted first, and we must have made, I don't know the exact numbers, but let's say we made 230 or 240 or 250 or something like that. And Chesterfield bounces. You get in there and it bounces. And I think we had them, we were in the game, and he was this high, came into bat, faced a couple of balls, and I thought, okay, we've got this sewn up. The asking rate is a little challenging towards the end of the game. This little kid can't hit me anywhere. And I ran up and I made the mistake of bowling a little back of a length thing, thinking I'd tuck him up. And he hit me into a tree, way over deep mid-wicket, as far as I'd ever been hit before. Sachin Tendulkar, age 17, shocked the living daylights out of an Ian Bishop in his pomp. And this kid here is even younger. He's 14 years old, taking on world-class players.
Sure.
That, to your point, that must have shocked the living daylights out of Prasidh Krishna and all the rest, Mohammad Siraj and those guys.
Sure. All right. Let's take a little more. There is mixed reactions on GT's batting. Some of you saying nothing, no need to panic and no need to change the way GT bats. They just ran into a monster kid today. That's not going to happen every day. On the other hand, SKM points out that Butler during the innings break said it's a total that needs a great bowling and fielding effort to defend, which might have been an indirect admission that he felt it's not a winning total. So perhaps there was an element of miscalculation. Reaction on that?
Yeah, I think we've addressed that.
Yep, sure.
Where they were at the 16 over mark when Gill got out, they were in a good position to at least score to 20, I would say, to be reasonable. But they were maybe 10, 15 runs short, but nothing more than that. They couldn't have, it's not a bad batting performance.
There are some CSK fans that have crept into the comments, very unhappy.
Oh, really?
saying, see CSK, this is what you need to send in kids for. Play the kids.
No, but this is a broader perspective. I credit Stephen Fleming the other day where he finally came out and he said, I think we got it wrong at the auction. The style of the game has moved on to a large extent and we have not pivoted with it. And that to me was a significant admission from the coach that our brand of cricket needs to evolve with the game. And to be fair to them, they've brought in 2 teenagers in the last few games. Too late.
Correct. Yeah.
Too
Yeah.
late. But an admission that the game has shifted a bit.
Yeah, I mean, Vaibhav Suryavanshi has actually only seen 3 CSK titles in his life. Just saying. There are so many of these jokes we can come up with.
Seriously.
You got it, man. Okay. What about selection for GT? Where is Gerald Coetzee? Surely he's a better option ahead of Karim Jannah. That's a good point from
He's injured.
Piyush Daya.
He's injured.
Yeah, but there's this confusion on this. I thought so too. A lot of people are saying he's walking out of the team bus looking fine.
No, he's
injured.
he's got a groin. It was a tear, but it's a strain which is healing.
Okay.
And he's a fast bowler. You would want to have him at the main part of the IPL towards the back end if Rabada doesn't show
I
up.
just throw it in there though. They have so many bowling options. They have Kulwant Kejrolia and they have Karim Jannat. I've seen a fair bit of Karim Jannat. He's not a bowler. If he gets you more, yeah, he might get you the odd over, but that's a 30 run over there. You know, those are little things which maybe they're not thinking of this because of how good the tournament's been so far. But I wonder if it's just the wake-up call that they might need. Who knows? All right. There's also one from Darshak on, I think now GT might want to check in on whether Rabada is joining anytime soon. We believe actually that he might be rejoining, but there's very little information from either the franchise or from KG himself.
Ronk, I want to address 1 or 2 of those, right? I mean, we know cricket. We're around cricket and we've been around cricket. We played cricket for a number of years. I don't think people should be... GT are in a really good position. They've played 1 game less than several of the other...
Correct. This was just their 9th.
You have a victory like this against them with an otherworldly performance. It's no shame in saying, we came up against this. We're in a really good position. How can we use this to our benefit to fine-tune our game, whether it's our selection, whether it's our pace of play? It's a nice little checkup. You go to the doctor and you say, I'm healthy, but I can do even more. And there's no embarrassment in that.
Yep.
We've played enough
Fair
cricket.
enough.
Yeah, it is just a night which belongs to Suryavanshi.
But Varun, don't let it.
No.
Analyze it.
Analyze it. 100%. You can't let this go.
Yeah.
But at the same time, for the fans, I mean, you can't destroy GT for this.
No.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
No.
I mean, if anything, there was one good positive point, which is that Rashid actually, I thought, bowled quite well today. And that when he came on, he was the one bowler who looked like Jaiswal and Suryavanshi weren't completely comfortable against him in his first 2 overs. I think he went for 10.
Fair enough.
Then Suryavanshi managed to go after even Rashid. But maybe now Rashid will think, you know what, I could have been the guy to come in the 4th over or the 5th over with the team batting this well. He's at the end of the day, he's the gun player. Maybe now he'll have the confidence to be actually, I'm that guy.
Okay, outstanding. This is actually a really nice point from Ujjwal, who says, hello everyone, I live close to Bihar myself. If Vaibhav would have attained this in Mumbai, Karnataka or a Delhi club, it's still great. But doing this in the infrastructure here is simply unreal. I think that's from someone who lives there and perhaps can compare. But yeah, that I think it makes the story special. You, of course, hail from state which didn't have the infrastructure that perhaps this part of the world does, part of the country does.
But whatever I've read about him and I've heard is that his parents and his family have really invested a lot in his cricket upbringing. So I think they make him travel, meet the best coaches. He spends a lot of time in Patna, not in Samastipur where he's from, to actually get trained. And you know what? How much can you even train when you're 14 years old? Like, for example, if you debut when you're 20, you would have actually had a volume of 8-9 years of solid practice. But this is just pure individual talent and brilliance. No matter how much can you practice when you're 14? Like, he would have practiced properly for maybe 3 years, okay, since he was 11. Specific to what he's done today. But
specific to what he's done today.
Yes, specific to what he's done today. I mean, when he started off, he's obviously not going to be tonking every single ball. People would have taught him basics and stuff like that. But this is just individual brilliance.
Yeah, I mean, I get your point, and I won't disagree with it. But I've been reading, Raunak, as you know, and you forced me to do this over the years, to understand and read the stories of so many young Indian cricketers, right? And I've been able to articulate what their parents have done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%.
Taking them to academies from the age of 7 and practicing, like Sheikh Rashid. I think Sheikh Rashid said when he didn't make the under-19 team or something like that at one stage, was it Sheikh? He started practicing 3 times a day.
Yeah.
10 years old, another kid, twice traveling 6 hours with his kit bag to play on a bus. The sacrifices, and I say these stories, not, the Indian public knows this, all of you guys know these stories, but the West Indian public and the public outside of India don't know these stories. And my daughter plays cricket, I told you this story.
Yes, you did.
She drives my daughter all over the place and wondering if she's doing the right thing. I said to her the other day, there are parents here who have left their jobs as bankers to take care of their kids so that they can give them everything that they want to produce. And this kid is doing it for however long. This is serious business. This is an encouragement to everyone outside of India and India. Invest, if you can, in your kids in a serious way, because the kids here, they're really putting in the work.
But don't put too much pressure on the kids. As
No,
well.
it's no pressure.
because
The kids want to do this.
100%, yeah. But I know a lot of parents who put a lot of pressure on their kids.
Yeah. We're not talking
There
about
should
those
be,
guys,
correct.
And on that note, and yes, Bish, I'm a great admirer of exactly that sort of storytelling that you do so very well. And I don't think we should take for granted how many Indians also may not be aware of it. So it's not
really?
just
Yeah,
it's not just for an international audience. I think it's brilliant, and longer may it carry on. But I am keen before we wrap things up to actually have a quick conversation on handling Vaibhav Suryavanshi now. And I say this because we don't want...
Yeah, don't put pressure on him, for starters.
You know what I just did right now while you were talking? I just popped over to his Insta account. 652,000 followers. I don't know what it might have been yesterday.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was before the first LSG game where he smashed Shardul. But he's going to be, even if he knows what it might be like to be a superstar, he's in for a real wave now over the next 24 to 48 hours. Media, social media, parents potentially handle the page. I hope he has a phone of his own, or maybe he doesn't.
He's actually lucky to be part of Rajasthan Royals and under Rahul Dravid, because Rahul Dravid is one of those cricketers who almost symbolizes how to keep it low key, So if at least he can pass those values to him and be like, you know what, this is just the beginning. Take it easy, put your head down and keep going.
To be tested,
I mean, there's only the shelf life with Rajasthan Royals ends with the IPL, right?
Yeah.
His association may carry on, may not. I know even Wasim Jaffer has a relationship with
He's not playing for Bihar for sure. There are other teams lining up in India.
I mean, I've just always have said this, like, this is where we've reached a new level now with the 14-year-old getting this, that the BCCI, amongst the many great things they do in terms of infrastructure, there has to be some form of emotional or psychological guidance provided too. This kid is going to perhaps be playing domestic cricket, playing an under-19 World Cup, whatever it may be, but he's 14. He's got his parents, they'll play a big part. But I'm sure, Bish, you can perhaps equivocate the importance of just managing this kid in what is a crazy world, especially in our part of the world with social media. What do you think? You speak as a parent as much as a broadcaster.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to find the correct... I mean, this is almost unprecedented. It's unprecedented, 14 years old.
Yes.
Yeah? It's unprecedented. So this is new territory. This is going to be new territory for Rahul. This is going to be new territory for the parents. The scrutiny on him when he plays the next game.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't score any runs, there are going to be detractors out there.
So deal with failure,
Dealing with failure. Yep. Brian Lara always was one of the greatest guys that I saw deal with failure. And we played together since we were like 14, 15 years old against each other as well. But he was able to take failure, let it run off his back, and move on to something great. This kid is going to be tested. Rahul is great. Dravid is great. He has a great track record. His parents are going to have to be so close to him.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I'm sure they are great parents. You got to surround this kid
with the right people.
Proper people for the next...
With the right people, 100%.
For the next... for the next, I would say, 5 years to ensure that this high that he got so early in his career, there isn't a drop, but that he's constantly pushing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's funny you say Brian Lara. He's actually said in an interview that he looked up to Brian Lara. I'm sure he would have.
He's got that
him out on YouTube.
Sure,
yeah. But yeah, Brian Lara is an idol or a role model for Suryavanshi. So there is that.
No, this is going to take a special effort from whether it's his parents, BCCI.
Because I can imagine the agencies come lining up to sponsor him. Player, talent managers, all of them, endorsements coming his way.
Cautionary tales.
Got to take care, man.
And you honestly, you just hope that he continues to enjoy the game, right? Because there have even been some success stories, whether it's Andre Agassi, Thierry Henry, who at the end of their career say, you know what, there were times that I wasn't enjoying it, even though I was that good. Because of all the pressure and succeeding early, you hope whatever happens in his career, he just enjoys playing cricket, because he clearly enjoys it now to do it at 14 like this. So that's the biggest thing, I'd say.
Yeah, surround himself by good people. Yeah. That would be the priority now.
Let's hope for that. And we certainly pray for that, want that to happen. This guy, I mean, who knows? We'll remember the day that we were here.
Oh, you've gone there again.
We'll remember the day when we sat here watching this.
Yes.
Now, this is a life-changing experience, even for those of us so far of it. What it is for him, he'll sleep well tonight. Or maybe he won't sleep at all.
I don't think he'll be sleeping too much, but I will say, and I'll remind you guys again, and you can hold me to it, that the transition from the great faces of IPL cricket, there is a new bunch of players out there, and you should not be afraid of the eventual transition that will come. The superstars potentially are out there, and you have to build them up.
Okay. Well,
Jen Bold is taking over.
He is from after Jen Bold also.
What is he?
The Jen Bold, I mean, we have this billing here.
He's Jen Baby.
Jen Gold, Jen Bold. So he's a generation after Shubman Gill, I think. 13, 12 years is.
What are you naming it?
Jen Baby. Baby Jen.
Well, I think we called him the boss baby, didn't we? Or Simon Cattage used that term. We can do better, can't we?
Yeah. It's not as savvy as I want. Don't tell Simon I said. Need something more savvy.
I think it's just a name that cannot ever be forgotten now. It's just Vaibhav. It's wow Vaibhav. It's Vaibhav things. It's Suryavanshi.
I don't want this to be a one-season wonder, and then we have cautionary tales out there of guys who have been phenomenal in a certain instance very early and don't move on. Let's ensure that this is not one of them.
Well, I mean, the term Suryavanshi is descending from the sun. So, there you go.
Jensen?
We've seen something special, universal today. Well done, Vaibhav Suryavanshi. Today's your day, buddy. Sleep well tonight. Enjoy cold chocolate. And whatever else that you can have tonight. Brilliant. Just brilliant. Amazing. Let's wrap it up with our rapid fire review. You know what, all of you can go for this. Describe that Vaibhav Suryavanshi knock in one word or phrase. Dustin, kick us off.
Just monumental.
I'm speechless. There are no words.
Speechless is good.
Yeah.
And now, the great Ian Raphael Bishop.
It's like putting pressure on the little kid. Otherworldly.
All right. Have you ever seen a teenager not called Tendulkar bat like that?
I mean, I think Sir Ian Bishop said Brian Lara, maybe. So,
no, I've never seen a 14-year-old bat like that.
I've never seen a 14-year-old.
no, not a 14-year-old. Yeah, you said teenager.
That's the question. You know what? Let's go to the next one. Right. Let's not forget Jaiswal in his own contribution. 5 50s, 49 in his last 7 innings as well. Are things now working for Yashasvi Jaiswal? Is he batting at his best?
He is batting at his best. I think I had a brief chat with him before one of the RR games at the ground, and he was like, you know what, I really feel that he himself feels that he was pressing that power button too early. He knows that he can mold his game, start off a little, like knock it about and then go, which he did. And now once he's got confidence, he can just play however he wants to.
All right. Bish, where do you stand on Gujarat's reluctance to use Sai Kishore against the left-handers today?
I'm not for it. I think he's a better bowler than that.
All right. Do Gujarat need to rethink their batting gears?
I'd say not at the moment.
All right. What happens with Rajasthan's batting lineup when Samson is available again? What about Sanju?
Samson's got the news is he's got a tear on his side, which takes a very long time to recover. So, I mean, not coming back.
But next year when he is back, I don't think there is moving Vaibhav Suryavanshi.
No, you don't want to move him. from that spot. So Sanju has batted low down the order as well. Number 3.
All right, simple as that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Anybody going for Rajasthan at the back of this to inspire at least a 5-match winning streak towards the end? Do you think this is the innings that can lift that kind of a finish? Bish?
I'm not going to say no, but I still think it's unlikely to get to the playoffs.
I mean, all they can get to is 14. So there are still permutations which make 4 teams getting to 16. So it might still not be enough.
Yeah, they're not mathematically not out of it, but I wouldn't put my money.
Yeah, they need other results to go their way. Anyone think that this loss at this stage could derail GT's chances of a top 2 finish? They are still well positioned for top 4.
No, I don't think it's going to derail anything with GT. Yes, it's a bad day for the bowlers. They are going to look back and see what they could have done. But all credit goes to Vaibhav Suryavanshi. He deserves, like you said, a cold glass of Milo.
Milo.
I'm just imagining everybody having a few celebratory drinks, and him having a Milo in his hand.
I want to meet someone in the street who predicted this would happen tonight. I want to meet the person. You're not
You might meet people who say now that they predicted it.
Come on. Anyone that I meet at the airport tomorrow morning that told me they predicted this would happen.
Bish, you'll get plenty of people who said they predicted
come
it.
on.
They knew it.
Come on.
I've known Vaibhav.
35 ball 100 in the IPL
they'll
from a
just
14
say that.
I'll spend some time tomorrow morning. I'm sure we'll find somebody with the right stamp on his tweet.
Yeah.
Maybe Jofra.
Social media, you know my handle. Send me a message and say that you predicted this.
Points table will have that highly significant net run rate boost for what it's worth. It's still 6 points, so they need a lot of things going their way. Even if they win everything, there are possibilities of 4 teams finishing above them. So Rajasthan would hope for results to go their way. For now, at least they live to fight another day in the league phase. For the Gujarat Titans, they could have taken top spot, but they will remain at 3rd now. We have seen 2 teams pick up momentum, RCB and MI. So we wait to see how the Titans respond to what has been an end to 5 wins, or rather 6 wins out of 7 in the last few weeks in the league. They will now play Sunrisers Hyderabad, the Gujarat Titans, at Ahmedabad on Friday. Sunrisers who are returning from the Maldives.
There's a huge match, I feel, in the context of the IPL. MI,
100%.
GT, that's going to be a big game at the Wankhede.
Yep, that's them next. They go home to Ahmedabad to play SRH, will be returning from the Maldives. And you have Mumbai and Delhi. Those are 2 tough games to follow with fellow top 2 contestants, you'd think, or contenders. Lucknow and Chennai to wrap it up, both at home. For Rajasthan Royals, they will stay put at Jaipur, and the Mumbai Indians will come their way on Thursday. So quick turnaround.
Beware the team with nothing to lose.
Yeah. And they have a great record against MI, for whatever it's worth.
Bumrah versus Suryavanshi is going to be top of that bill.
Top billing.
How many short balls do you think we will see from the opposition to him next game?
Bumrah to Suryavanshi, how many short balls?
Let's keep a watch on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
I just think length ball. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar showed a little bit of variation, length, deceive him. Maybe that'll just take care of it. But anyway, I won't be with you for that, because this is where I also say thank you very much to Ian Bishop for all the time he spent with us in this year's tournament. Bish, I hope you've enjoyed it.
Always enjoyed it. And again, the guests that you've had on each bring a sense of integrity and knowledge to your show. And they're well led by the producer and director.
He got you there.
I couldn't agree with you.
By you, Raunak. By you. A terrific host.
I wanted to give you a flying kiss, but I thought it's better to give you a salute. Right, this is where Bishop signs off. Abish, before I leave, before I let you go, give me your prediction for the IPL final 2025. Won't hold you.
Is this necessary?
Well, just
It
for
is
fun.
necessary.
It's my ritual on the way out for anyone's last
I
day.
don't like doing it because then I feel under pressure to try to prove my prediction. And I prefer to walk into the commentary box with an open mind. And I hope that you guys will understand that. I don't like doing those sorts of predictions. I want an open mind for my next game.
Okay, great man. Thanks, Bish. But he has told me off air he thinks it'll be MI and kidding.
I have 3 horses in the race, though, that I'm a closet supporter, and I'm not going to reveal.
All right. And on that note, Bish, pleasure as always. Thank you very much. And Varun Aaron, I'll see you again after a break. Both of you can rejoin the World Feed Caravan in the next few days. Dustin, I think you have a nice long break, but you've had a fine innings, and what a sign-off. Vaibhav Suryavanshi.
Yeah.
Class. All right, tomorrow, DC, spotlight on them. Their home form hasn't been great. KKR come their way. Their form anyway hasn't been great. So it should be a good game on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for timeout build-up will be just before the toss. And we will see you again. For now, we all revel on the day we'll remember as Suryavanshi Day.
How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.